Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Angie.
And together we are TwinFinity.
That was a very pronounced we.
We. There's a big we, not a little we. We're already off to a rough start.
That goes with the fireplace gas that we just discussed before the
Yes.
video started, that Rob was like, too bad we're not recording. So, happy 11 Day. It actually is 11 Day that we're recording this. Hopefully it goes up. It's early in the evening, so there should be enough time to get it up on official 11 Day.
So we're talking about getting it up in a wee
Oh, God.
And she's rubbing her eyes, and I've got a little bit of seasonal allergies going on.
Well,
it's
I'm actually
springtime.
rubbing my eyes because I was crying so much from laughing from your bad joke before we started the video. So that's why my eyes are all red and teary.
And I've got a little bit of a sinusy runny nose bit. So if I dive off camera for a moment, it's because I've got a small stash of Kleenex with me.
And I'm surprised you didn't comment, but I thought you were going to comment
on your headgear.
Yes. Before we started, I thought you were going to be like, "Why are you wearing that?"
Oh, I kind of know why you're wearing that.
Oh, why do you know?
You're still celebrating.
Well, yeah, actually, yes. That's why I'm wearing it, because I only got to wear it for one day, and I feel very sad. So I'm wearing it again, and because it goes with this. So if this wasn't obvious enough, I just turned 50. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago and a bit.
It's 52 weeks ago, not 52 weeks ago.
Thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
We're in trouble tonight.
Yes. And for my birthday, Rob got me this beautiful infinity necklace because we are TwinFinity. Aw, so
Yay.
nice. So I had to wear my 50 sparkly headband that I'll have to wear all year long because after this year, it's done. Will be useless to me, except I'll keep it forever just because it's pretty. But that's my little story of why I'm wearing my headband.
When I turn 60, I won't be wearing a tiara or a headband or whatever you want to call
yeah,
it.
I should be calling it a tiara. My crown, because it does have a crown on the 50 right there. Yeah, it's my crown.
Yay.
It's so cute. So, oh, you go. You had a sew.
Yeah, I
You had your
know.
own sew.
I was gonna progress into our little story bit of the week.
That's what I was gonna press.
The month.
Rob has a story that I don't even know. He didn't want to tell me what it was, so fine. It's gonna be a surprise to us all.
You know, and I hope lots of people do nice things for their partner, wife, husband, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend bits. And, you know, sometimes the little things are also quite important and they mean a lot. Occasionally, when Angie wakes up in the morning, her feet are really, really hot. They're so hot that she can't go back to sleep. Now,
Thank you to perimenopause.
So I go to work significantly before she does. Let's say an hour and 15 minutes before she goes to work. So when I get done brushing my teeth and I've re-washed my hands, sometimes I don't quite dry my hands 100%. And I wave them through the air so that they evaporate and they cool off a little bit. So they get a little bit chilled. And then when I go to say goodbye, well, she's still laying there in bed, half zonked out. Occasionally she'll hang a foot out. And that means, please cool that off. So I take my cool hands and I put her foot in a clamshell in between. Well, you don't need to see the Kleenex. in a clamshell of cool hands, and I cool off her feet one at a time, of course.
I never even thought to tell that story, but that's a good story to share.
So,
yeah.
And it only takes a minute, and I'm sure it helps her go back to sleep for a little bit once in a while.
So at night, my feet are cold. So he warms up my feet at night, and in the morning, they're like burning hot. Luckily, I don't get, and knock on wood that I never get, the actual hot flashes that a lot of women get, or the night sweats. I don't get that. I just get hot feet. And they get so hot sometimes I can't sleep, and then I'm up all night long. So, yeah, Rob is kind enough to warm them up at night when I come to bed and then cool them off in the morning.
So confusing.
That's love. It's ridiculous that somebody requires that much maintenance of their feet, but I just got weird feet, I guess.
And way back when we first met in 1997,
Yes, you should tell that too.
I used to give her toe massages lots.
You used to always know that there was something special about my feet.
Yeah,
you used to comment about that.
Yeah, her feet, I'd just look at them and they'd be screaming that they needed some form of attention. And it's never really gone away, apparently.
Well, and back then, he intuitively knew that they needed something and didn't really know what. And back then it was grounding, because I was so 5D that I was not grounded at all. And as you know of Rob, he's like super grounded. So he used to energetically ground me without even either of us understanding what was happening. But it was cool. He used to really pay a lot of attention to my feet.
Still do.
And now you still do. Now it's just for menopausal reasons instead. What are you doing, Cookie?
I stopped. Okay.
Hang on,
Cookie's right beside me, and I was petting
wanna
her.
see if I can
And
do
then
a
I
picture.
stopped, and she took her paw and put it right on my leg as if to say, hey.
Hey,
come on."
Cookie. Cookie.
No, she's not.
She's
gonna
like, "Meh, you got a camera. I'm not going to look at you." What a funny dog. It doesn't look as good as it looked when she first did it, but she put a paw on Rob to say, "Hey, pay attention to me." So, yeah, the dog needs to be the center of the world. Right?
Apparently correct.
Yeah. Now she's like, "I'm going to lick your arm."
Yeah. Or just half lay on my leg now.
Yes. So, shall we dive into questions?
Boy, this first one's only... Well, I have a dog.
Cookie's not going to let Rob do anything but pet her. She's climbed all the way over his leg. She was like pawing him like, "Hey." A very demanding little princess. She should be the one wearing the crown here. She's the princess.
Okay.
Okay.
First question. Angie was so nice. She even put start here. Regarding the limbo phase of the TF journey, do you guys have any tips, resources, or advice that could help us to deepen our trust/faith in the universe and trusting that the soul knows what it's doing? See, that's really difficult, because the soul always knows what it's doing and where it's at. It's us that it's us that tries to know better, or
Tries
different.
to know better, yeah.
Yeah, we try to know better. Yeah, I was reading a contract at work today. I'm way off
This'll
course
be
here.
interesting.
Yeah, but it kind of does relate. And the contract, this is to do with car maintenance, says that after you buy this used vehicle, for the first 6 months you will not pay for anything except for this and that and the next thing, because it's not covered under what would normally be what you'd call everything. So if people only read up to the point of "you will not pay for anything," then they call up with the most ridiculous things that are broken on their vehicle, and we say, "Did you not just read the rest of the sentence after the comma that this is excluded and that's excluded and this is only included?" And I think that's kind of how sometimes we are disconnected from our soul. Our soul knows everything, and we only look for the bits that we want to see, and we only want to feel. We only want to have happen.
Sorry, I'm busy taking goofy pictures of the dog. I don't know what on earth she's doing.
Well, she's now underneath my leg. Don't know how she did that. It's a little dog. I'm a little concerned. Poor dog. So yeah, how do we maintain our trust and faith? I think we have to remember that the soul always knows what it's doing. I've said that twice now. So therefore, it doesn't take trust and faith. It just takes knowledge that it's our own insecurities or desires for something different than where we're at that cause us to question our soul. But we really shouldn't question our soul. We should question our interpretation of the journey that the soul has put us on. Now, sometimes we don't have to. I can't tell everybody to just enjoy the journey that you're on, because sometimes it kind of is not enjoyable. There's moments that aren't. But if you ask the questions of why is this happening without trying to read too far into it again, because the soul knows, and we have a hard time figuring that out. I think life is a lot easier sometimes if you just roll with it and sometimes wait to see whether or not an answer sneaks out the other side of the journey on the individual steps.
Yep.
Because many times we question why this is happening or why that is happening. And then a day, a week, a month, or a half a year later, hopefully not a whole year because that's a long time. But yeah, a day, a week, a month, or a season later, all of a sudden we have an aha moment that, oh, all this had to happen this way so that something else could start and be different and be a little bit better. But in the heat of the moment, yeah, it's really hard to be patient and wait for all this to try to work its way through, because in the heat of the moment, it just hurts in the heat of the moment.
And it's annoying and frustrating and sorry, I'm busy enjoying my milk. It's my after dinner routine, and
we're way out of routine. Normally we do a supper and then we'll play a small game of some type. Yeah, and we went straight from supper to here.
Yeah.
So there's still like little desserty drink.
This is my dessert
to
drink.
go.
Yes. What I was gonna say is, I think one of the easiest ways to remember the soul's journey is to stay connected to the soul. And I know that's easier said than done, and I need that lesson myself, because just last night I was venting with a friend and feeling frustrated about the human journey myself. So I think it's important, though, to stay connected with the soul, however that works for you, whether you can journal or through meditation, or I don't have any other examples to give right now. I need somebody to give them to me right now, because some days I struggle. But I think it's partly about getting out of the humanness. Sometimes we get so stuck in the humanness that we forget the big picture. So if you can kind of pull back and kind of, like, I don't know if you've ever had a meditation where you can literally pull out of your body and see things from a higher perspective, from your soul's perspective, right? Like sometimes I'll meditate and I'll be out floating in the galaxy. It's like amazing. And when you're there, you can get like a bigger perspective of the journey rather than being in the mundane day to day. So if you can do stuff like that, where you can, not be so ingrained in this here and now, and remember who you really are, remember the bigger picture, remember this is only one life of hundreds or maybe even thousands that you've lived, and it goes by quick. I mean, I know when we're here, it doesn't feel like it goes by quick. It feels like it takes forever. But it's really a short journey in the big perspective of our life. So, yeah, it's really about staying connected with the soul and remembering the bigger picture of everything. Which, again, as I say, it's easier said than done, because I have days where I'm fine with it and other days where I struggle too. So it's not even just about, being in limbo. I know the question is about being in limbo on the journey, but it's really everything. Like if you're going through a hard time with whatever, any part of any journey, we kind of get so stuck in it that we forget the whole journey, and we're just looking at the here and now going, well, this is it. So that's my advice.
I do have more to say.
Of course.
But our dog is going crazy. She's trying to dig up the edge of the blanket.
She's having a party with.
Oh, she's being a total brat tonight. there's numerous different kinds of things. Now, the person did talk about being in limbo, but I'm going to relate to it from a different point of view because that's what I do. I usually come from some odd angle or another. Up here in Canada, we do a lot of tire swapping. In spring, we come out of our winter tires, and there's lots of tire movements. There's cars changing tires everywhere, lots of lifting, bending, carrying, stacking, like just thousands and thousands of pounds of lifting and moving and placing per day is what I end up doing. And I've gone 2 tire seasons in a row without even pulling a muscle. And then this tire season came along, and something went crazy in my very lower back. I ended up with back spasms that were just really hard to deal with for about 3 weeks. And a little bit of sciatica sneaked in with that. And something crazy's gone wrong with my left shoulder. I don't know whether maybe some arthritis that I've been taking some glucosamine for has got a little bit beyond the ability of the glucosamine, or maybe I actually injured it. I don't know. Today I was stepping off of a curb and I stepped wrong, and I didn't twist my ankle sideways, but it snapped back. So in other words, the toes raised up really high because my heel wasn't on the curb and the rest of my foot was, and I wasn't ready for that because I'd missed the curb a bit, and that hurt for a while. And so I'm thinking, what is it with all of a sudden uh, 4 different things going wrong, and I'm just barely just getting started into the tire season when I had 2 tire seasons in a row with no injuries whatsoever. So I don't know. I just went out and got a back brace, and that magically really helped. It did so much work that my back came out of spasm. So, and the rest of it's just about being careful, I think. So maybe looking after myself is the message that I need to be paying more attention to. I didn't need 4 shots of the message, thank you very much. The first one was plenty. Those back spasms were not fun. But when you get stuck wondering, like, what is going on? Why is all this happening? Or in the case of being in limbo, why is all this not happening the way it's supposed to?
Yeah.
It's similar. It's just one or the other, 2 different styles of balance. It can be really frustrating because it's hard to find the message in what's going on. But in the meanwhile, if I interpret my struggle as look after yourself better, well, I'm already trying to do that. I've just heard this loud and clear. If you have other messages that are coming to you, like be patient, if you're in a limbo that isn't going anywhere and patience is wearing thin, well, sometimes if that's the message, you got to go with it.
Yep.
Limbo is a little bit more difficult to deal with.
Yes, it is.
When things are happening, you can adjust things. When things are not happening, it's tough to take something that's stopped and put it back into motion. That's almost one of the laws of physics. And I think that limbo is harder to deal with.
Definitely. I'll just maybe add one last piece, and hopefully that won't tangent you, and we'll just keep going back and forth because
I'm totally in tangent mode.
I know.
I could speak half this video without even the clipboard going because I had lots of stuff on my mind.
Great.
I feel sorry for Angie tonight.
So I was just gonna say, what was I gonna say?
Don't look at me. I wasn't saying it.
It connected with what you were saying. That's what triggered
About limbo being harder to deal with.
It's about limbo. Oh, darn.
Oh.
Oh, yes, I remember.
If I wait long enough.
Yes. When you're in limbo, again, when you can pull yourself out of the immediate human situation, and just remember that often when there's nothing happening in our vision, there is tons happening behind the scenes in the spirit world. So there might be tons happening with you and your twin on a higher level that you're not aware of. You might both be being prepared to reconnect. And even though it seems like nothing's happening here, it might just be that there's nothing happening that you can see, but lots happening in a higher realm. So if you can, just remind yourself of that. Sometimes I even find like putting little stickies around my house or room or something, just to remind myself that, oh yeah, this isn't what it seems. Because often things aren't what they seem, right? So that's just another offer of suggestion that might be helpful. Anyway, should we dive to the next question before we get lost in this one?
Okay, we can go on to the next question. I'll try to avoid any other tangents because I'm
Not possible.
not possible.
Not possible.
Okay, next question.
Yeah.
Unplug my throat and continue on. It says, I had breast cancer last year and I'm probably having a recurrence this year. After being in 3D contact with my twin for almost this entire year, we went back into separation. When he ghosted me shortly after I told him I thought my cancer was back and I would not be seeking conventional medical treatment this time around. How is the twin dynamic affected when one twin is sick, suffering, going through trauma, and the other is not?
Can I dive into that first?
Yes.
So first of all, I just want to say I'm really sorry. I can't even imagine how hard that must be. Having been going through my own health issues the last few years, I can't imagine the stress that would be to go through it a second time. So just sending you so much love and a lot of healing. Regarding the question though, often it's such a blessing that one is going through something while the other isn't. Because can you imagine if you're both going through something? Then it's really hard. So again, like I just mentioned in the last question, a lot is happening in the higher realm. So if you're going through something and your twin is not, that's so that in the higher realms they can support you, even though it might not seem like he's supporting you here physically. In the higher realms, you're working in tandem. Like I've kind of shared the ladder before. One of you is here and then the other's here and the other's here because they're helping pull you up. So then you get here and then you step above and then you help them pull up. So you're constantly working together to get higher and higher in your evolvement. And you're working with your energies. So just understand that it's not that it's unfair, that why am I the one having all the issues and my twin is fine and healthy and great and all of that. It's just so that energetically he can be of better support to you, because it's hard to support each other when you're both struggling at the same time. That's my perspective.
When one's struggling and one isn't, I'll speak from a 3D perspective, even though all the dimensions are involved in this. One is being grounded, one's being the foundation, while the other one deals with, I don't want to really call them issues, but deals with the struggles, with the matters at hand. Because issues sounds too negative. It's just the concerns. So it's actually quite common that one is not at the same level of stress as the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We hear about that all the time. One's struggling and one isn't. One's out having a good time, the other one's not. One's got all sorts of other relationships going on. One can't even get the one relationship that they're looking for to even start. It's
yeah.
It's common. It's just really tough when you're the one that's going through the struggles and the other one looks like that life is just all grand and easy. Life changes. Life changes.
Yep.
I knew a guy from work who was on his 4th go around with cancer. and yet he didn't give it very much energy.
Hmm.
He just continued on. You know, he was 78 years old and carrying double cases of paper, like photocopy paper, where where you get 10 reams in one box. He'd pick that up and walk away with it, and he was going through his fourth round of cancer. It made me embarrassed to be all strong and going, do I really want to go get a case of paper? Oh, then I looked at him doing what he's doing, and I'd just go get a case of paper. So sometimes a person's perspective while they're struggling makes the struggle seem so much worse than what it deserves from an energetic point of view. And it doesn't have to be like from a woe is me point of view either. It's just sometimes we focus on what doesn't deserve our focus. So when you think somebody is actually going through a really good time, are they? Are they really? Or do they have lots of struggles and they're just hiding it? And sometimes, if they're hiding it, are they burying it, and therefore that energy is getting all locked up inside of them, and they're not able to grow, and maybe they're saving up that energy for, and they're not doing it on purpose, but they're saving up that energy for a fall of their own sometime in the future, when that energy eventually, and as it usually does, it bursts out just when you don't need it to. And then it's their turn. So I don't know. Sometimes when people are doing really bad, is it really that bad? And when people are doing really good, is it really that good? It's really hard to find people who are going through a 100% bad time or a 100% good time. Those moments last a very short amount of time. Usually we're in some flux of positive and negative. And when it comes to energies within the twin, with the twin dynamic, it can switch back and forth so fast.
Yeah.
Somebody who's figuring that they're lined up for a reoccurrence, they find out it's just going to be a small reoccurrence, and maybe if they've already decided they didn't want to take any more treatment, well, maybe because it's so small, maybe they understand that treatment is going to get them a long way, so it's not going to be the same torture that it was before. And then the other person that's going through such a good time, I don't know, falls down, breaks a leg, misses a summertime, disaster. Wow, where'd I get that from?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes perspective on how bad or how good things are for some people, I caution that too many people take the bad and make it too bad, and take the good and try to make it too good. Just so that they can see their own contrast.
That's a good point.
Now, I still don't think that dealing with cancer is all that great. I still feel awful for this person. Yeah, that's never fun. Both my parents passed away from cancers of some form, and that was just not fun at any stretch.
Yeah. Yeah. So, sending you all the best. And I hesitate to say this because there is a point for conventional medicine, but I also think it's good to be looking at other things instead of just conventional medicine, because you sometimes find a lot more answers of the underlying issue when you go to unconventional things rather than just the Western medicine world. So not that I'm advising anybody to not do Western medicine, but I think a combination of both sometimes is a good idea. And if you've done the Western and now you want to try other things, might be very effective. So sending you all the best for that. Shall we go to our next question? Or do you have more?
No, I'm going to step. I think I can step past this question, but I just wanted to make a comment about and this is way off of anything that's on our clipboard. I can turn the clipboard around. I've been noticing in the past couple of weeks that the energy in society has been really ramped up. I would almost call it frantic energy. We've come through the pandemic. Everyone was shut down. It was kind of a miserable time for many. Then last summer, people were climbing out of their little foxholes and looking around and having a little bit of fun and kind of enjoying what was going on, because that was the first summer where the pandemic didn't really seem to matter anymore. We were trying to get beyond that, and it seemed to work for the most part. This year, it seems like people are really venting that pent up energy. I know that energy I talked about just a little while ago, where it's negative energy or positive energy, all pent up. It really feels like that there's just this massive urge to explode right out of the gate with summertime and make up for all that lost time of 3 or 4 years, depending upon what part of the world you were in, that the pandemic basically ran your freedom in your life. And what I'm really seeing is that people aren't necessarily being cautious with their energy and their resources, either spiritual or physical resources. Money would be one of those, I suppose. People are spending more even though the economy is overheated and we're trying not to spend more. People are just planning on throwing all they got into this summer, make up for it all in one shot. And I'm just wondering, is anyone else feeling it this way? I'm seeing it. People who wouldn't normally book vacations are booking them 3 and 4 months out because they're gonna go out and make up for all that lost time. It's kind of crazy to watch. But it's not that we don't deserve to party after being shut in for a few years, but at the same time, wow, all at once? Is this a bit too much? Are people so bent on trying to feel better that they get outside of the roots of who they are and they just go out and explode into anything that they can find in an attempt to feel better? I'm feeling that could be a factor this summer.
Interesting.
I'll take any comments that come aboard. That's what I see. Shall we step on to the next question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep the dog entertained.
Yeah.
Here, you can say hi before you go.
Yeah. There's the dog that's been actually, we as soon as we moved the chair over to where it sits in front of the fireplace and holds up everything that we do here, she all of a sudden just totally changed character. She was like, oh, it's this party again.
Went and got her bone and came downstairs and started throwing it.
Threw it underneath the coffee table just before we got started, so I had to go rescue the bone from underneath the coffee table. Poor dog couldn't reach it. There was another form of frantic, but that was frantic panic. The question. It's been a long time since I've heard from my twin flame. The inner connection has been quiet too. The last time he externally communicated with me through an email was October 13th of 2021. That's back there a little ways. I'm feeling a desire to reach out today to him. I know his LinkedIn profile I know through his LinkedIn profile that he transitioned to a new job. I was hoping that by now we would have crossed paths and the universe would have brought us back together. But there's been such a long time of silence. I'm just hoping that if I try to bridge the external silence gap by sending a message, that it won't interfere with his timeline. Do you have any thoughts on this and the best way to approach TF communications? We spend a lot of time recommending that people listen to their innate feelings. You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to not what only you feel you know, but use that sometimes even more than what you perceive that you know. There's two differences. There's the perception of what you know, and then there's the feelings. And sometimes it's tough to trust the gut feeling when it's against what you think you know. Like if you've got a bunch of silence going on, you know that the other person, your twin, has chosen silence. And to go against that just because you feel different is really hard to do because you don't want to be disrespectful. But the soul sometimes gives little nudges that says it's okay. And sometimes a person's twin is staying in silence, not necessarily out of absolute need or desire, but just out of routine. It's their routine to be quiet.
Routine, or they don't know how to reopen bridge the gap and reopen communication.
So if you're getting that strong nudge to communicate, I could hardly think that it would be harmful, unless of course you send a 15,000 word essay in your communication. I don't even know if an email that big would even go. But hi, think of you often. Know that you've started a new job. Good luck. Bye. As in, not necessarily bye-bye, but just catch you later. Yeah, catch you later. Something simple that just doesn't say, hi, I've communicated with you, now you better communicate back. You don't want to send a message that sounds like that.
Which is tempting sometimes. You're like, why haven't you talked to me in so long? But yeah, I think Rob's right. If you feel that sort of nudge or pull to communicate, then just do it. I think a lot of times we get our minds way too involved and we start analyzing rather than just doing what we want to do. I mean, if it was a friend that you hadn't heard from in a while and you thought of them and you're like, oh, I wonder how they're doing, or, I want to reach out, you'd probably just reach out. But because it's our twin, we're like, oh, what do? We're so afraid that we're going to damage the connection or ruin things, or if we reach out and they're not ready to hear from us, then they're going to close the door completely. And then so we second guess and third guess and eighth guess ourselves and don't do anything. So I think sometimes it's just important to just follow that nudge. If you get a nudge, go with it without analyzing it to death.
And you have to be prepared for any form of a response. You might be hoping for thanks for contacting me. I didn't know how I was ever going to get the words right to contact you. You hope for something even halfway that open for a communication. Sometimes you have to be prepared for I'm not ready to be in contact. My life has gone in a different direction. I prefer not to be in communication. Click. Ghost.
Or just ghost, no response at all.
No response at all would still mean not ready.
Agree, but I'm saying that's what you have to be prepared for, is no response at all.
Or it could be a response that comes a month later once the person's had a chance to redigest their own feelings, because from our own journey, sometimes you reach out with that happy birthday or Merry Christmas or Happy New Year, and 1 minute goes by and you're just dying because you're going, oh, why didn't I get a response? Second minute goes by, you're still reeling from the, oh gee, should have I even done that? But sometimes the other person on the other end is also just going, oh no, I want to respond, but how do I respond? What do I do?
Completely.
And they might need a week or a month to settle down enough to just give a 3-sentence response that you'd go, well, what was so hard about that? Why couldn't you have done that days ago?
Because in their head, they're thinking of all the responses, and they finally settle on, okay, we'll just go with this. Because often when there's so much emotion,
Yes.
that's when you second guess everything, right? You, instead of just, again, if it was a friend, you just go, oh, hey, I haven't heard from you in a long time. I was thinking about you too. Nice to reconnect. Whereas when it's your twin, and, you know, if you reach out and then he goes, what do I do with this? It just takes some time sometimes for the other person to process it, to know the right way to answer, because they probably are going through the same thing you're going through of debating of even reaching out. So when you reach out, then they're like, okay, how do I respond? So sometimes it takes a while for them to figure out the most appropriate way to respond that's not going to shut the door even further, if that's where they're at. Maybe they're going to respond and shut the door. It's hard to know because you just never know where the other person's at. But I think if you get the nudge, you go with it. Reach out and see what happens. And know that if the door closes, it doesn't necessarily mean it's closed forever. It's just closed for now. Our doors closed so many times, it's like, okay, this is never happening. And here we are. So it happens. It just sometimes
takes a long time.
Takes a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to add to that.
No.
How to approach it?
Just do it.
With a happy tone of typing.
Happy tone of typing. I like that.
Unless you're leaving a voicemail. Then just have the happy tone.
Perfect. I like it.
Oh. Next question?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. If you have met your real TF, but you're not meant to be in union, how can you settle for someone else? Surely you are settling and won't be happy. So are those people doomed to staying single? But surely if they desire true love in their hearts, it's for them to have in this lifetime. Yeah, this question almost wrapped around to the other side and answered itself.
Yeah.
Just because you're convinced that you're not meant to be with your twin does not mean that you're not still here to experience love.
Completely. And it doesn't mean your twin is the be-all, end-all. We are so conditioned from childhood until we die that there's one person out there for us. We both married other people before we were, well...
Back together.
Okay, we'll say it that way.
Yeah.
So you can find love with other people. It doesn't have to be this one person or you're doomed to be miserable for the rest of your life. And I also fully believe that if we are seeking and desiring something, whether it's true love or anything, if that's truly an inner calling that we have, a soul yearning that we have, then it's meant for us. Because what we are seeking, the universe is also seeking to provide us. So it's just a matter of trusting again the flow of everything coming to us in the right time, in the right way. So maybe there is true love and it's not with your twin, or maybe there is true love and it's not with your twin right now. Maybe there is somebody else you need to meet, connect with, learn from, grow from, experience life with, and then your twin comes back. Every journey is different, so it's not like we can say here's how it's going to go, but it doesn't mean you can't be happy and have a healthy relationship with somebody else. That's my take on it, because I don't think everybody is meant to be with their twin in this lifetime. I used to believe that, but I think now sometimes your twin can just be a catalyst that wakes you up and gets you on your journey, and then you each go your separate ways and do whatever you need to do. It's just whatever each soul pair has decided is part of their journey this time around, part of what's going to serve their growth the best. So just know that your soul's got a plan. Kind of goes back to the first question.
It does. Trusting the soul.
Yeah.
You know, all of our human interactions can supply us with an experience or a thought that can be just tucked away in our toolbox of love.
Toolbox of love. Wow.
There's many different styles of love, but there's within that, there's many different pieces and mechanisms that support these different styles of love. And some of those pieces and mechanisms are universal to all styles of love, and some styles of love are unique to their own operations, so they have a lot of very unique pieces. So when you have somebody you just meet on the street who's walking their dog, and you pet their dog and say hi to them, and then you never see them again, or you have a friend that you've had for a while, or you have one of your lifelong friends, or various levels of romantic relationships along the way, they're all providing those bits and pieces, those mechanisms that eventually add up to ways of either interpreting or sharing or having love. So to say that if one relationship can't exist, therefore I can't get any other forms of love tucked away in my toolbox for either this life or next life or whenever, I would think that would be a little bit sad. I think a person's still got to be able to go out there and be at least a somewhat of I'll say a deeper positive interaction with the grid. If you've recognized yourself as being a twin flame, you're important to the grid. So I believe it's also important to still be able to go out there and possibly allow yourself to love in a different way than what you would have with your twin.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Because if you happen to have a good, loving relationship with someone other than your twin, that definitely does not harm your ability to be a positive light on the edge of the grid.
Love is love, right? Doesn't have to be twin flame love to be contributing to the ascension process and lighting up the grid. Yeah, absolutely.
Why am I going to say this? The person that finishes second in a marathon might not get all the accolades, but they've still done really well. So if you can't have your twin flame, but you have another good love instead, you've still done well.
And maybe that's not even second. Maybe it's better, because maybe your twin flame didn't do all the work they were supposed to do this lifetime for you to be together. So if you were together, you wouldn't be happy because you weren't at the same evolutionary growth point. And now the universe has given somebody who is and can serve your highest potential better. So there's always a reason.
Support you where you're at while your twin may be out having a tough life trying to figure out how to grow themselves to possibly catch up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, again, like I mentioned in the first question, we tend to get so stuck in this life and forget it's just one life. We are evolved beings, and we've had hundreds, if not thousands, of lives on this planet and probably other planets and star systems. So if it's not this lifetime, maybe it's another lifetime that you reconnect and get to experience union. Or maybe you get to experience union on the other side of the veil and in spirit. we don't know all of these things. So it's just, again, to have the perspective of knowing that this is just one earthly experience out of hundreds or thousands that we get to have. So there's more potential than just this. It always bugs me when people say there's only one life, or you only live once. YOLO, that's the new thing. YOLO, you only live once. And I'm like, no, you don't. It bugs me when people say that, because it's like we get endless opportunities. We can come back as many times as we want on this planet or other planets, and we get all the chances to experience everything that we could ever want. So it's not like it's this lifetime or never. You got endless amounts of time.
Sometimes within the realm of only this life, yeah, you only live this once.
This one.
So you only have the opportunity to do exactly this in this lifetime, because in a different dimension or a different place, it might not be exactly the same experience than what you'd have here, but
it might be better.
Yeah. I'm enjoying some of the chances I take in this life.
I miss some other lives more.
I have one medieval life that whenever it shows up in dreams, it was not a bad life. It was a good life.
It was a great life. I love that life. Or are we talking the same life?
Yeah, we're talking the same life.
Yeah. Oh, I love that life. I want to go back, except we weren't together. Well, we were, but
we
secretively.
Couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah. That part was hard. But the rest of life was awesome.
Yeah, she was a princess. I was the stable hand. Her life was awesome.
It was awesome. I had all the pretty dresses.
I had a pitchfork.
Yes, you did. But you had a handsome little outfit that you wore while you were carrying my potatoes.
Oh, great. Her potatoes.
Well, my family's potatoes.
Okay.
The castle household, not just me.
Did I get to keep a potato? Probably not.
Don't remember.
They were the royal potatoes, of course.
That's why I need my crown now, because I miss that life.
She accuses me of tangenting.
You're the one that talked about lives. I'm just done with the struggles of this life. The last 4 years have been a little unfun, and I've just had enough, and I need to watch this video back and listen to my own guidance, because I'm too much in the 3D, and it's only been 4 years. It's not like it's been a lifetime. And it's been for my benefit. Someday I will do a video on all of this and share the whole last 4 years and what I'm learning, but there is tons of benefit. The universe is always working for our benefit, even when we don't see it, even when we think we're being dealt the worst cards or when things are the hardest. It's still a gift. It's just a matter of, again, being able to see the bigger picture. But it's always we're being served. So that's, if you can remember that. And I will too.
Okay.
Let's do one more question.
One more?
Yeah, we have a little more time.
Okay. I'm a 48-year-old based in Texas. I recently happened to encounter my TF when on a trip abroad. At least there are strong signals to suggest that. She is in a relationship, and so am I. With each other. There you go. End of question. No. Apparently not, because there's more question. We discovered each other through a vision in her dream that she shared with me, and that transformed/awakened me instantly. But we currently live in different continents and opposite time zones. Yeah. One's in night and the other's in day. And vice versa. So, halfway around the world, it sounds like. My question is, we're struggling to get into a healthy sleep schedule since the revelation happened. We sleep for short spells and wake up and find it hard to get back to sleep. Oh, maybe they're messing with each other's sleep now. Very interesting. It's obviously impacting health and our functional ability. We feel it is mainly due to our time zone difference and also some level of longing. Do you have any suggestions how we... oops. There's a PTO. Please turn over. How we can combat and get back into good sleep hygiene. Okay.
Do you have thoughts, or do you want me to? Because I have some thoughts, but I don't want to interrupt your flow if you have.
Yes, I have a thought.
Just one thought.
Just one thought.
Liar. Little tangent to 15 more.
Well, yeah. Okay, it could. It could, but I'm struggling with the thought that I would be projecting my own values on somebody else.
Say that again.
Projecting my own values. Oh wow.
You started doing that while you were talking, and I'm like, why are you doing that? You're echoing.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I just better project away here. Time zones, depending upon how you agree to communicate, can literally mean nothing other than the fact that excitement gets in the way. If one person, now I'm going to use emails as an example. If one person sends an email in the middle of the night, that doesn't mean that the other person's middle of the night has to be interrupted so that they instantly answer that email. They can wait till it's their daytime and they're feeling right and have had a chance to digest any information that's come through the email and respond back when they're ready in their daytime. And then in the meanwhile, it'll be the other person's night. And it doesn't have to be a time zone problem. I think that it's only a problem with communication when the responses are expected to be immediate. If the responses can wait for the other person's correct time zone and daylight or whatever to come along, it's all fine.
I find it so fascinating how we think so different, but it's good. We just went for a walk before supper, like I do almost every night, and a whole side topic, but I was saying to Rob, why do opposites attract? Because he's such an extrovert. He denies it and thinks he's an introvert, but he's totally an extrovert compared to me, which let's not even go there because we'll argue.
Extreme introvert, minor introvert.
No. But anyway, where was I going with this? Oh, yes. We have opposite thoughts. So you're taking it very concrete that one feels like in the middle of the night when it's the other one's daytime and the other one's sending an email, the one that's the middle of the night feels like they have to read and respond to the email in the middle of the night. I'm taking it more that it's not a 3D situation. It's more an energetic. They're waking up because they can feel each other's energy. For example, if one of you, it's your daytime, you're thinking of the other person, you might be writing them an email, but the other person who's supposed to be sleeping because it's their nighttime
feels the energy.
So I'm not even taking it as like a 3D situation, but more of an energetic 5D thing where they can't sleep because they're constantly feeling each other's energy.
I did catch that in the question, but oftentimes when people are having troubles sleeping, it's because something's bothering them in 3D. So I'm gonna. I think you've got more to say from that point of view, and I'm gonna let you carry that banner. I'm gonna say that if you calm down the 3D side of it, that the energies in 5D won't be such a impact when they happen. Won't be quite so devastating to the sleep pattern. But At the same time, if the communication in 5D is so strong between two people, it's going to continue to mess with them.
Well, it is, but I'm not even saying it's the communication in 5D for both of them. It's just that one's awake thinking of the other one,
Yeah.
and the one that's sleeping is feeling that energy, so they can't sleep. So, what I would suggest is have some sort of an agreement of between these hours for me and for you. For you, when you're sleeping and I'm awake, you let me know what hours you're sleeping. And when I'm awake, I will be very aware of my energy so I'm not like blowing up energetically so you can't sleep, and vice versa. Maybe have like a verbal agreement of, between these hours, we got to really manage our energy. That either you're not sending me emails that I'm feeling energetically, or you're not thinking about me so much that I'm not sleeping. And I could be wrong. Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong in that it's one thinking about the other while the other one's trying to sleep. Maybe you just both can't sleep because you've just had this intense revelation, which understandable you wouldn't sleep just from that alone, right? I'm thinking it's the energy of each other that's bouncing off of them that forces them not to sleep, but maybe it's not.
It could be the very same energy that causes 90 hours of awake with only 8 hours of sleep.
Exactly.
And we still functioned.
Yes. If you don't know what we're talking about, this was like one. I don't even know what story video, or if it's like in.
It was in.
We talked about it. Okay.
We did. Yeah.
When we first met, we'd only known each other a week at that point.
Yeah, we just were awake, communicating all the time.
Yeah.
We'd have little cat naps, and that's what we'd get by on.
We were in my apartment for 90 hours, I guess, because Rob calculated we had 8 hours of sleep in a period of 90 hours, but it wasn't 8 hours all at once. We would both
2 hours here,
fall asleep for a little bit, and then we'd wake up, and then we'd talk and talk and talk, and it was like we were just catching up from, hey, where have you been since I last saw you, on a soul level, and vice versa. It was the coolest thing. So yeah, we literally went through that. It was really fun. I still remember that so clearly.
I don't know how we did it.
Energy.
I'd have a nervous breakdown now. I couldn't go out.
The energy carries you. Well, no, even think about when we were starting to come back together, how we were both working full time, and yet we'd still manage to send each other like these ridiculously long texts. Like, just, I think of that now. I don't know how we ever did that. I don't know how I could do that again.
I knew at that time that my phone had a 700-word limit on a text.
And yet we were managing to
couple a day at least.
And now I don't know how we could do that, but you just do it because the energy carries you. So for them, I don't know if it's an energetic thing that's tripping them up, or if it's just the wanting to be together. But whatever it is, I think you need to both have some verbal agreements of, like, between these hours I'm sleeping, and between these hours I'm sleeping, and let's really try and manage our energy. Whoever's the person that's awake, manage our energy so we're not bombarding the other person. Or maybe before one's going to sleep, you do connect, whether it's through email or through phone or FaceTime or however, and get out a bunch of that energy so that you can sleep. Or maybe that'll make it worse, because maybe then you'll be thinking of everything.
Thinking about it all the time now. Hi, gotta guard my energy. Gotta guard my energy. Keep that energy in place.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
And gonna get myself in trouble.
I can see that just by the look on your face. I'm scared.
Yeah, I've got the,
yeah.
Don't say it, but I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
She's one to talk. She would
What
be,
do you mean?
You're a brat. You would make an agreement like that, and then halfway through the day you'd say, hi, and then you'd wait to see if you really got a response just to test it.
When was this?
You would do that.
When?
If we ever needed to do that.
Oh, you're saying I would. You're
You
not
would.
saying I have.
No, I'm saying you would.
Oh, okay.
That you would test the theory. And you'd wait by your phone right there, or by your emails, going, yeah, it's only been 2 minutes, only been 3 minutes. And if I was groggily going, oh, what the heck, hi, and sent you a message, you'd be like, yay, it works. That's probably because it worked. But that's something she would do.
But I did sort of do that with us, but not
Ta-da!
that no. Not that we had an agreement not to communicate,
Oh.
but I was practicing our telepathy and I wanted to see how well it worked with you understanding it, and it would work. I wouldn't send a physical message, but I would telepathically call to you and then you would send me a text.
Yep.
So I sort of did that, but not after agreeing not to communicate or something.
It would drive you crazy.
What?
Hmm.
To not?
To not communicate.
No. Well, yeah.
Yeah. I choose the yeah.
It's true.
I'm just picking on her.
Yeah, but it's true. All right, now that we're all giddy, I think it's time to go. And by the way, we didn't even comment. We are both completely off on our normal colors.
I knew that when I was standing upstairs. I was going to be in my red and gray and black shirt.
I'm just still wearing my workout clothes from our walk. I didn't bother changing back.
I've got on my secondary climbing mountain glasses on instead of my fancy blue ones.
I was going to comment.
Yeah,
wearing your new glasses.
Yeah, they're just in the glove box of my truck, and every time I get into it, I just keep forgetting to change out of them.
Okay.
I'll remember.
Okay.
Eventually.
Well, I think it's time to go now that we're all giddy and talking about
Everything.
Stupid things, nothing and everything. So another good batch of questions. Actually, once again, they all sort of tie in together and talking about energy and past lives and other future lives and soul perspectives.
And staying single in this life.
Or not.
Or not.
Just being with somebody other than your twin. That's okay too.
Check the box that says other.
It reminds me of that song, Check Yes or No.
Yeah.
Other.
Yeah, other. That's an old country tune. There might be a bunch of people that don't know that tune. Is it time to check out?
Well, I was going to tangent. Can I tell a quick tangent story?
Sure.
When I first learned we were twin flames and I was just so frustrated about it all and nothing was happening on 3D because I hadn't even told you yet. I did the whole try and cut the cords thing that everybody tells you can't do that. And I discovered firsthand you can't do that. Because that night he sent me communication in a dream. So, of course, 3D Rob doesn't know we're twin flames. He doesn't know we're going to be back together. But in 5D, he's feeling me try to cut the cord. And he's like, don't do that. So he sends me this powerful dream of like, I want to be with you. And then he sends me not just that song, Check Yes or No, and I think it's George Strait that sings that song, but actually sends me like a piece of paper in my dream of check yes or no if you want to be with me. And it was really, really cool. So I've always liked that song because country's my favorite genre of music. But it even has more meaning now because of that whole trying to cut the cord and then your soul going, don't do it!
Guess I'm pretty emphatic in 5D.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We ought to go.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for your questions. And we will, as usual, be back with more someday. Hopefully someday not far away.
At least in the next month.
Okay, that's fair.
11s roll by every so often, and we catch most of them.
Yes, we do. Well, together, not necessarily in a video.
Well, we catch all of them together.
Well, yeah, one of us gets it or the other one.
Yeah, usually you get 11.
Yeah, but I lost it today.
And I didn't know it was an 11 day until I sent the text.
I know, at 7:30 or something.
Yeah,
it took me a long time to...
I'd already been at work for an hour and had computer logged on and everything before it finally dawned on me that, oh, it's the 11th today.
We have this fun thing that we wish each other happy 11 day, and it's like a race to see who remembers first thing in the morning. So sometimes it'll be the middle of the night and we'll get up to go to the bathroom, and then if I know we're both at least somewhat awake, I'll be like, happy 11 day at like 2 in the morning just because I'm so darn competitive. But today
Yeah.
I thought about it last night, and then this morning I was wiped out. Like, was I even awake when you said goodbye?
You've missed a bunch.
Yeah.
There hasn't been much foot cooling off going on lately because she hasn't even been awake.
Yeah.
Crashed
Menopause. I blame all of life on menopause these days. But some of it's actually true. That one's true. Sleep is a commodity. You take it when you can get it. So I missed 11 day. But we're not missing it now. We're here.
out. We actually celebrate 3 days.
Yes.
11 day, 14 day, and 25 day.
Yes.
11 day because it's
11 day.
11 day. 14 was the date when we got engaged, and 25 was the date that we met and got married.
Yes. So I usually get 11 day, and then Rob gets the rest because I'm like, oh yeah, I got one. I'm done.
Some months when one person gets all 3, then the other person has to like give their head a shake and try harder next month.
1 month I got all 3, but that's very rare. I usually get 11, and then you get 14, and you mostly get 25.
Yeah, by the time the 25th is rolled around, Angie's lost her edge on the month. She's already looking to the next one.
Yeah.
So I tend to get 25.
Yeah.
And that's our lives.
It's ridiculous. But cute.
Okay, we'll catch you later.
Bye for real this time.
Bye.